Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Norhidayah Binti Rahim, and it's a real pleasure to be presenting here at this conference, AIMAC 2026. This research, which I work on with the brilliant Associate Professor Dr. Goy Mete, my supervisor from Open University, Malaysia. The title of this paper is Digital Marketing Stimuli and Impulse Buying Behavior in Shopping Application, the Moderating Effect of Gender. Now I know that's a mouthful of a title, but essentially we are looking at why we all find ourselves clicking buy now at 2 a.m. when we definitely didn't plan to. My reference ID for this paper today is, as per up here, 099084. Now, let's deep dive into why our phones are so good at taking our money. Think about your morning routine. You wake up, check your notification, and suddenly there's a Shopee or Lazada alert telling you there's a flash sales. In the past, marketers focused on physical store or bulky website. But now, the battle of our wallets is happening on the go, right in our pocket. We have noticed a massive gap research where people shop online, but they don't fully understand how these specific mobile-only triggers work. And here's the fun fact. 75% of women prefer mobile shopping compared to 63% of men. Maybe men are just better at hiding their phones, or maybe women are just more efficient at finding deals. Either way, that's a huge difference. That is why we are decided to looking at gender wasn't just an option, it is a necessity for this study. So how do we measure an app? We use the 7C framework by Report and Jaworski. It's basically a checklist for digital environment: context, content, community, communication, customization, connection, and commerce. Now, usually researchers assume that if you make an app better, prettier, faster, more social, people will spend more. But we want to be a bit more skeptical. Does a community section you actually make you buy a toaster impulsively? Or is it just a place where people go to complain about shipping? So we set out to test if these 7 C's actually helping impulse buying, or if some of them are just actually making us pause and think, which is the enemy of an impulse purchase. To get to bottom of this, we went straight to the source. We conducted a quantitative survey with 384 active mobile shopper. Why 384? Well, it's the magic number for statistically accuracy of this type of study. We use purposive sampling, specifically looking for people who use Shopee and Lazada. They aren't just hobby shoppers. These are veterans of double one, double 12 sales. We use high quality validated scales to measure everything. So no, we didn't just ask people, do you like shopping? We use deep psychometric items to measure things like aesthetic appeal and informational richness. Now let's look at who we talked to. We had a great mix with 56.5% being female, and about half of our responded in 21 to 30th years old age of bracket, essentially the prime scrolling age. And most of our participants earn between 3,000 and 5,000. So they have some disposable income to be dangerous with. But here's the most incredible statistic from our entire paper. 100% of our respondents say yes, they have bought something on impulse online. Personally, I've never seen 100% consensus in research before. Usually we have at least one person who denies it, but not here. We are a nation of impulse buyer, jokingly. Okay, let's get into the heart of the data. And honestly, this is where it gets a bit like a plot twist in a movie. We run a multiple regression to see which of our 7C actually drive the buy now button. First, the winner is commerce. It is the only factor with significant positive impact. This actually makes sense. If the app makes payment easy and secure and fast, we are much more likely to pull the trigger. It's like that one click checkout. It's so fast, your brain doesn't even have time to check your bank balance. But then we have the breaks. Contacts, content, customization, and connection actually had negative effect. To me, this is fascinating. It suggests that when an app is too beautiful, too informative, or too personalized, it actually makes us stop and think. It shifts us from an emotional state to a logical one. If I see too many details, I start to think like a responsible adult and asking, do I really need this now? And we all know that logic is the death of an impulse buy. Now let's look at the quiet one. We have community and communication. In our study, these two turn out to be non-significant. This means that things like chat feature, push notification, or reading users' review didn't actually push people towards an unplanned purchase. I like to think of it as how many times you have been in a community group or a chat with a seller and you end up talking to yourself out of the purchase. Or maybe the notification was just one of the 50 you got that day. So you just swap it away. Our data shows that unless these social interactions are paired with a very strong push to buy right now, they just end up being a background noise. They might be great for a brand loyalty, but that I need this right now feeling, they just don't do the trick in this study. So the marketers that listening, don't count on your chat group to save your sales number if your checkout process is clunky. Now, let's talk about the battles of sexes. Does gender change how these seven C's work? The answer is yes, but only for certain things. We found that gender significantly moderate the effect of content, communication, customization, and connection. This means man and woman process interactive features and personalize ads very differently. However, when it comes to commerce and context, gender didn't matter. It seems that regardless of whether you are male or female, if the app layout is confusing or the checkout takes too long, everyone impulse to shop disappear at the same rate. This brings us to what I like to call the sophistication trap. Platforms like Shopee and Lazada spend millions making their apps smarter and more detailed. But our study suggests that they might be over engineering the impulse out of the buyer. If you want someone to buy something on a whim, you need a frictionless commerce. Just a big button and a fast checkout. You don't need a 10 minutes video and 50 customization option. That just give the brain time to wake up and say no, not now. Theoretically, this refines how we look at 7C framework. It's not just a list of booster. Some of these are actually brakes on consumer behavior. To wrap it all up, if you're designing an app, remember that simplicity is the friend of the impulse buying, and complexity, on the other hand, is its enemy. And remember, your marketing needs to be tailored because men and women aren't clicking for the same reason. But then, thank you so much for sticking with me through this 10 minutes deep dive. Since this is an online video format, I won't be able to see your face, but I'll be checking the YouTube comment section. So please leave your question, your comment, or even your own story of your most regrettable midnight impulse purchase buying behavior. I look forward to the discussion. Thank you so much and wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye.